Hello, everybody. Welcome to MAWS Talks Wrestling. This is episode 15. We are your hosts. I am LunaKage.
I'm Glenburg.
All right. Yep. Well, we got some things to talk about.
A lot
Mostly
of
wrestling. That's
yeah, a lot of
in the
stuff.
title.
A lot of stuff.
Yep. So, I guess something I kind of want to kick off a little bit is the tournament. The tournament to decide the number one contender of the Intercontinental Champion that they started on Raw.
Right.
Uh, I think obviously it's cool in general. Tournaments are always a decent way to build a number one contender. But something that I realized that they were doing is something that I've kind of been saying that they needed to do all along.
hmm
They're building up the Intercontinental Championship again.
I'm glad too.
Um, without the main two titles, now that they're only one, without the world title, now the Intercontinental title is the secondary championship. So basically, if you notice, the eight competitors in this tournament.
hmm
You got Cesaro, you got Bad News Barrett,
RVD.
but every single other person in this tournament is a former world heavyweight champion or WWE champion. You
hmm
got Cesaro and Barrett. Uh, they both have had championships, but they've never had a world title.
hmm
You got RVD, former WWE champion.
hmm
Um, Dolph Ziggler, I believe, right?
Yeah, world
He
champion.
was in that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
former
in it.
world champion.
Yeah.
Jack Swagger, former world champion. Sheamus, former world champion, former WWE champion.
Correct.
Alberto Del Rio,
Uh
former
huh.
world champion, former WWE champion. Mark Henry, former world champion. Um, I'm missing one. Who? Wait, am I?
Uh, did
No, I think that's it.
Sheamus? Did we mention Sheamus is in it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mentioned Sheamus.
Okay, you
But
did.
basically, what I said that they had to do was give us a reason why we should believe the Intercontinental title means anything. And basically, what they're trying to do, at least in WWE canon and kayfabe,
Uh huh.
they're trying to say, "Oh, look, these former world champions, they want this Intercontinental title."
True.
So, the way I see it, um, I believe it's pretty much a guarantee. I think that Cesaro is going to be the one to win.
Yeah.
So the way I see it, uh, if he does end up winning, then you have Antonio Cesaro, this new guy, who beat all these former world champions
Right.
for a shot at the Intercontinental title. So it makes it, at least if we're talking kayfabe, it's a good start because it makes it feel like it's important again.
It's pushing him a lot towards stardom a lot more.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, uh, haven't haven't Bad News Barrett, or not Bad News, but hasn't Wade Barrett and Cesaro, they've both at one point had a shot at a world title, didn't they?
Well, yeah, cause
I know
the chamber and
Cesaro got a shot at one at the Chamber, and I want to say Wade Barrett at least got a shot during the Nexus angle. I mean, I wasn't around for that. I didn't watch that, but from what I hear, the main feud was with John Cena, so I can only imagine that the title was on the line at some point.
it
But
was yeah.
yeah, so yeah, you've got all these guys that have either been world champion or competed for world championship, and now they're competing for a chance, not even for the title itself. They're competing for the number one contender spot for the Intercontinental title.
I'm glad. I'm
And
glad
like I
that.
said,
Yeah.
it's building it up, and I like it. It's going to take it's going to take a minute until the Intercontinental Championship takes its number 2 spot like it was in the past, but they're definitely trying, at least.
Yeah, I'm really happy about this move as well. Because even when you look back in the past, a lot of people who've held the Intercontinental Championship were world champions as well. So this is the best way to do it, and I'm pretty sure they were probably inspired to kick it off more because of the Warrior as well, since he was one of the best in the Continental Championship.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it,
I feel like
but
to some
they might.
degree it was inspired, but I mean, yeah, I think it was a good move regardless.
I think if anything, what happened to Warrior and the words that he said, it actually might open up a Hall of Fame spot for the guys who were not competitors or celebrities.
Right.
Because watching the Hall of Fame, I don't know if you saw the Hall of Fame,
I did.
but when watching it, one of his points was that the guys who make the things, who make the ship run, not the talent,
Hmm.
not them, but the guys in the back, like the guys whose names neither of us know,
Hmm.
because unless we're digging into that kind of thing, why would we know?
Yeah.
It's not presented to us. And honestly, like, freaking, how many referees do you know? Like, how many names of referees do you know? And it's not that they haven't told us; it's just that they don't really give us much of a reason to care. Like the big ones would be Earl Hebner. Earl Hebner.
Uh-huh.
Mainly because he was involved in the screw job. Like you'll never be able to forget shit like that. But referees at least are mentioned, even if it is offhand. But the guys in the back who pull the curtains and stuff. The sound guy, the shit like that. They don't get any kind of recognition, at least on air or anything. So I think I think they actually might get their own separate wing come next Hall of Fame, and if that happens, I'm gonna be excited because
Yeah.
it'd be a good thing. Guys like that, they should get recognized every once in a while.
They deserve it. They run all WWE events on point, make sure the music is right, everything's synced. Yeah.
Right,
Well, do you
and
remember?
stuff.
I was just gonna ask,
Yeah.
add right quick. I remember Warrior mentioned some guy's name that he said he wants to see an award for this guy next Hall of Fame. I forget the name, but I guess that guy was a big deal as well. It was because it was
I
like
mean,
merchandising or something.
like, so did I, and that's kind of the point I was getting at. Like, even in a moment like that, like he mentions a name. It's not a wrestler, it's not even a referee. So we're like, yeah, that guy deserves to be acknowledged, and then we immediately forget his name.
Right, right.
And that's just an example of the level of behind the scenes those guys are. Maybe if they get a Hall of Fame induction, maybe fans like us, where I guess you can't really call us casual fans at this point, but
Yeah.
I mean, not too many people are gonna memorize the names of dudes backstage, even if they're not acknowledged by the company itself. But maybe if they are, maybe we'll start caring just a little bit more because it'd be like that guy this year is apparently the hardest working guy in the back. WWE acknowledges this, so I'm gonna remember his name.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Like, why don't they get a video package?
Right, right.
Like, I mean, like, I'm not sure how you would show that kind of video package, but
Right, like
it'd be nice.
he's riffed all these iconic matches at WrestleMania and all that type of
Yeah,
stuff.
stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? But it'd definitely be nice. I'd like that. And Warrior making kind of a big deal about it, and then promptly dying.
He got a
If
lot
they
off his
don't do it,
he,
I'll be
he
surprised.
got a lot off his chest before he passed away.
Yeah, hell yeah, he did. Like,
Yeah.
he fucking, that Hall of Fame speech was pretty long, and he was just like, he was all over the place, but
Hmm.
he was the main event, of that
Right.
particular show. So,
Right. You
who's going to tell him not to say it?
can't walk away from the ultimate speech.
The ultimate speech. Yeah, yeah. So we got that, I guess. Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. The tournament, we talked about that.
Right.
I firmly believe Cesaro's gonna win.
Yeah.
Although I do kind of hate to see it be at the expense of Wade Barrett, because I mean, Wade Barrett, sure, he's not new anymore, but he has been technically repackaged.
And it works.
Same name and everything, but like he's got pretty much a new gimmick. So,
Much better than
first
when.
you got to do,
Yeah.
yeah. So you got to send him out there, keep him strong and stuff, and have him win. But you throw him into a tournament where there has to be one winner, and then you got two guys that you want to keep strong, and like it's not even just those two. I mean, even RVD, like RVD's back. Like you don't really want him to start losing right away, but I guess one of the big reasons he is back is to help put over new stars, and I guess him and Cesaro are going to have their next tournament match together.
Hmm.
Uh, has Wade Barrett already been knocked out? Like I know we saw
No.
the
Oh no, he
we
beat
saw
Dolph.
the initials.
He beat
Yeah,
Dolph Ziggler.
but that happened on Raw. But I guess Cesaro and Mark Henry had their tournament match on main event. So I don't know
Let me.
if
Are you saying if they had more matches? Well, considering it's like an hour, I doubt they probably did the rest of them.
well, yeah. I mean, if RVD made it, like if we know it's going to be Cesaro versus RVD, then I imagine RVD won his next match. And I mean, there's only there's only 8 competitors, right? Like,
Yeah, and
yeah. So that would mean that RVD would have had to have beaten Wade Barrett, wouldn't it?
yeah, I was double checking right now actually because I didn't see
Yeah.
I didn't see main event yet. So
Yeah. Me neither. I was extremely busy that day doing things that are personal.
personal.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. I mean,
the tournament are the finals gonna be at? Yeah, it's gonna be at Extreme Rules, obviously. So then Raw would be.
well, no, no, no. The finals, I imagine,
I mean, the winner
would
goes
be the
against Big E
actual.
at Extreme Rules, is what
Yeah.
I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is weird because would that be an Extreme Rules match? I don't think so. It'd probably just be a normal match.
Like the Intercontinental title turns into the Hardcore title. Right. But yeah, I mean, I'd say the rest of it should be happening
Yeah.
on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think they were gonna do any matches on main event. I guess they're kind of pushing that for the network, which I guess makes sense. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess I'm gonna have to start watching main event now.
Now I noticed it really shot up in popularity once it got on the network. Like they take it more serious than this is just a B or C show, you know. So
I mean, it still is, but I mean, they're throwing stuff on there. They want people to sign up for the network. So in order to
they have more
get more
star
people to sign
power.
up,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
noticed
the
more star
network
power.
needs
Yeah.
a little bit more oomph. So I mean, when you have a WWE product, not NXT, even though it is WWE, but like that's its own thing. But if the only network exclusive WWE product is main event, they're going to make it. They're going to make it important,
Right.
even if it's just slightly more important than it was before. They're going to, like, I mean, I guess they had a Shield versus Wyatt match on main event, and I didn't get to see that either.
That was a really good match, actually. Like the third one.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
I heard about that, and it's making me a guy. I own the network, but I never think to watch main event because I see it like it's Velocity or like it's Heat. Like
Yeah.
I didn't see a reason to watch it. But now that we've got these things happening, like actual matches taking place that have some kind of marquee value,
Yeah.
matches taking place that actually have a not even necessarily marquee value, but may have actual an enjoyment value to like it. You know, like it might be a good match, like you know, Cesaro versus Mark Henry. I don't know if that would have been a good match, but I mean, I imagine Cesaro, you know, hit the fucking equalizer on Mark Henry, so that would have been something to see. You know, stuff like that. I mean, it's giving people a reason to watch main event, and I haven't started to do that yet. But I'm thinking I'm probably gonna start watching main event now. I mean, I got the network. What else am I gonna do? You know?
Yeah, I like the live feed. I do it most of the time, and the good thing about the network is how even though we don't have every single Raw and SmackDown available yet, they show enough of the old Raws that you would watch it anyway organically. Than forcing
Yeah.
yourself to go through like a whole year of like 1993 Raw or something.
Right. And I mean, you know, and one day it might happen to where we have like a good portion of Raw in the past on the network. I mean, it'd
Yeah,
be great if we had every single episode of Raw on the network. That'd be ridiculous. That'd be amazing. But
yeah,
even though we don't now, like we've said numerous times, the network is definitely worth it.
yeah.
So there's really not much of a reason if you're a fan of the WWE to not have the network. If for some reason you can't justify $10 a month, you know, that's fine.
I think
But
the saving
I mean,
grace.
10.
Well, what was you gonna say? Finish what you was gonna say.
I don't. I forgot now. Go
You
ahead.
said something about $10. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
well, I was just gonna basically add that the saving grace is, it's not just to be nostalgic with the network. They actually put new content on it, and they keep it updated so that you can keep up with the active stuff and go back in the past. So
yeah. Absolutely.
yeah, I like that.
It's it's good. You know, you can't take away nothing from the network, man. They're definitely trying.
All right. Let's see.
So what else we had? We had our very first actual full length Paige match
Mm-hmm.
on this past Raw.
Correct.
Paige won with the Scorpion Crosslock, so that was pretty cool. I don't know, even though I've seen her do it quite a few times, the first time I seen her do it on Raw, I just had a big smile on my face. I was like, "Oh yeah,
I bet some fans on Raw saw it for the first time too, like for who didn't see NXT
oh
yet.
yeah,
Like, whoa, that's
yeah."
legit. Yeah, yeah. I
I
like
mean, like
how
it's a cool looking move.
I love it too because even though we know she's good, of course they gotta make her look like she's the underdog against all the WWE divas. You
Yeah,
know, yeah,
and it's interesting too because even though you and I, you know, we may not be as intimately knowledgeable about Paige as some other fans might be, but
right.
you know, we know that she's the real deal.
Mhm.
But since she's been on Raw, you know, it's only been two appearances so far, but ever since she's been on Raw, I'm like watching her with a different kind of mindset. I'm watching her like, all right, Paige, you're finally on Raw. Let's see what's going on now because
Right.
we mentioned it. We mentioned it before Arrival, and we mentioned it after Arrival. The NXT women's division was actual women's wrestling. Like it was enjoyable stuff. They actually had good matches. They had time dedicated to it,
Mhm.
and we both you and I, we agreed that it almost felt like moving up to the main roster was detrimental to the value of the woman.
Uh-huh.
As far as you know, we didn't feel like she would get time in matches. We didn't feel like she would get any kind of importance placed on her. So I'm kind of watching very closely because I'm like, all right, they got Paige up in the main roster now.
Uh-huh.
We've got, you know, we've got a lot of throwaway divas, sure, but we still got we got AJ, I guess. Still, we have Natalia. We have women that can wrestle, but we need to see that they're going to put the time and effort into the women's division and actually make us care about it on the main show.
Maybe
Because,
maybe a few less promos.
I mean, you know, the promos are fine
No, I'm talking about
as
like
long
in
as they're
general
as long.
to have more than like a couple minutes.
I mean, yeah, just the women need something. They can't just keep having less than 5 minute matches with no meaning to them and then expect us to give a shit. They can't just throw every single diva on the roster in this big 10-woman tag team match where nothing happens and it's only 4 minutes long and expect us to give a fuck about the girls.
That's intermission.
It's really irritating. Yeah, it's intermission. It's like the women don't always have to be the piss break, you know?
Right.
Like, and it's kind of irritating because I appreciate a good women's division. Like, you know, I was in love with the whole Trish Lita thing, just like a lot of the guys my age were.
True.
So there's really no reason. There's really no reason why they can't try and do that again. You know, you got the girls that have the skill to do it now, and you got AJ, who, despite their best efforts, is still pretty over with the fans, even though she's a heel. You know, and I don't know. I got high hopes, but they, just like with the tag division, they got a lot to try and prove.
Yeah, I think it's gonna start with, if they keep bringing the NXT girls. Like, I know Emma is really good too, but you know they have her with the whole Santino angle right now. I think it's just gonna take some time, so they're probably taking it one bit at a time. Like, let's start with the Intercontinental title becoming the second title, and then we'll probably work more towards Divas and Tag Team division or something. Yeah.
I hope so, but
Yeah.
see, my main problem is they hot-shotted Paige to the belt really quick.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this last week, but as far as being a diva in the WWE goes, that's pretty much it, you know? Like, she could retire tomorrow and say that she, you know, she had the she fulfilled her dream, because
Youngest champion
what's she gonna
too.
do now?
And she was the youngest
Is
champion.
she?
Yeah, she's the youngest champion.
Probably.
No, she's 21. Yeah.
So, damn. So what else is there for a woman in the WWE to go to do? Just, that's it. You know, you're the Divas champion now. I guess you're done.
There's
no
WrestleMania diva with an undefeated streak.
Yeah, there's, and the Divas are never going to get top marquee. I mean, it was really cool back when Trish and Lita actually had a chance to main event Raw, and if we got to see that nowadays, that'd be pretty sweet too. But
Right.
you know, they're never going to let a Divas match main event a pay-per-view.
Nah.
If that happens, it would be ridiculous, but it's never going to happen.
It depends on who's booking it, right?
I guess, but yeah, it's very slim. So basically, it's just kind of hoping for the best, and I really hope that they start improving the quality of the Divas division. And the whole thing about Emma with Santino, like, I know a lot of people are, you know, kind of miffed at that because, you know, like, oh, they throw another girl to Santino. It's Emma. She's got skill in the ring, but she's just doing a comedy gimmick now. People are forgetting, you know, these girls are young. Like, they're like super young. You know, they're younger than me young. That's young. So like, I mean, actually, I think Emma's 25, I believe.
25.
But even then, that's only that's only a year older than me. Like, that's still young,
It's
man.
my age.
So yeah, so Emma could be with Santino for a whole 2 years and still have a huge career ahead of her, you know?
I see what you're saying.
So, like, it's not like being with Santino has doomed her from ever being a serious competitor. I mean, we're talking about the Divas division here. Nothing is going to doom anybody from being in the Divas division.
Yeah, it's just a way to start off people. It's kind of like when, if you have a big guy, he's usually like a bodyguard. Like if it was Diesel or Brodus Clay, and then they kind of go into another gimmick. So she's pretty much teaming up with a male wrestler. Kind of like Summer Rae. She started out with Fandango, and then she's starting to get her own thing. And that was tripped out how Layla is with Fandango now.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it surprised me. I was just kind of like, oh, I guess Summer Rae's not doing it anymore. Fandango prefers brunettes, you know. So do I, so I can't really blame him for it. But I mean, to be fair, Summer Rae's not that attractive, and I'm going to be completely real. Like, she's she looked like she was attractive whenever I saw her on Raw, but when I saw her on NXT, like after she was already brought up to Raw, I'm just like, now that I get a good look at her, she kind of looks a little weird in the face area. So
You seen too
I
much
don't
of
know,
her.
like I mean, it's not that I hate her. It's just she's just been doing a dancing gimmick. That's all she's been as a valet. So
Hmm.
maybe once she starts doing some more matches, it'll be good. But then again, there'll still be divas matches. So
Hmm.
it's it's kind of a no-win situation if you think about it.
Right. Well, a Total Divas show pretty much what keeps the divas remotely interesting for people
Yeah.
who really like the drama.
Right. I mean, I think what I think they should do, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that will disagree with this, and that's fine because
Mm.
this is the part of the show where I start listing off some opinions, and these opinions are purely speculative in nature.
Uh-huh.
I like to call it fantasy booking with LunaKage, and no one's got a more vivid fantasy than LunaKage. I'll tell you that right now. So this is what I think they could do, right? And they could easily do it with Paige because Paige is kind of the anti-diva, right?
Right.
Have her hold the Divas title for long enough to kind of make her realize that even though she's up on the main roster now, she's still top dog, She's still beating every diva that's come across her path. So
Right.
that starstruck moment that she kind of had when, her first day when she came up, kind of saying she wasn't ready to take on AJ and stuff.
Hmm.
She starts to realize, like, I was wrong. I was ready. I was always ready. And I'm not saying she should turn heel or anything like that, but, like, just to say, maybe be the anti hero type person, kind of like she was, in NXT. She was still a baby face, but she was still, kind of, mean, but not in a mean girl kind of way. Just kind of,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm Paige. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
I'm different.
What are you coming me? What are you coming at me with this blonde shit for? Get the fuck out of here. So basically, she starts looking at the title, saying "Divas Champion." I'm not a diva. I'm not on Total Divas. I'm a wrestler. She starts dropping CM Punk bombs and shit. She's a wrestler, not a diva. So she vacates the Divas Championship
Oh, I see where this is
and
going.
reintroduces the Women's Championship.
Oh, that'd be hype.
So now there is officially two championships up, or not necessarily. Then maybe she trashes the Divas title, like it's gone now. So she's got the Women's Championship. Maybe it can look different. Maybe it can be the same title that we remember seeing back in 2005 and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
But she starts defending that. Then, the Total Divas girls, they start, having some infighting and stuff because they're catty bitches. They are on the show, so there are always.
Right.
And then maybe Vicky Guerrero, because she's a woman and only women can get involved into women's feuds, I guess. She reintroduces the Divas title.
What?
So now, just like there were back then, there are two women's championships: the women's title and the Divas title. The women's title are for actual workers, whereas the Divas title are for the divas.
Yeah, the divas.
Like the Total Divas, the fucking I guess you could technically say that Natalia could qualify for both.
So she's gonna be the
like they make the women's.
the undisputed female
Yeah, like
champion of the world.
Yeah, shit like that, I guess. But it's kind of what I'm getting at. That way you could have, the women's wrestlers compete for the women's championship, and you could have the Total Divas and all the diva-like individuals compete for the Divas Championship in their little 4-minute matches where no one does anything.
So I'm seeing this being a thing that can split both of them. Like, you're just a little girl, I'm a woman, kind of thing, and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
happens.
And like they were doing the whole Total Divas versus Normal Divas feud a while back.
Right.
It would have been even better if each side, each had one of the women's titles, and they're like, yeah, our champion's better than your champion because we're divas, we're the real stars of the show. It's like, well, you guys are just little bitches. We are women, They could have thrown it in there. But, I mean, obviously something like that could only work out if they actually put effort into it and made it good.
Yeah, they could if they
Like I
really
said,
want to. Because I remember at one time Raw was 2 hours and they had more Divas matches than they do now.
oh yeah. Like, especially with it being 3 hours, you could totally fit more time in to have some kind of worthwhile thing for the girls to do. And it would be nice if they had something worthwhile to do.
Yeah, I think it's just if you look at Raw and see how many times do they replace something from 7 o'clock at like 8 every hour, or how many unnecessary promos do they have, kind of thing.
Oh yeah, you're in Chicago. It airs at 7 o'clock over there, doesn't it?
Yeah,
That's funny. I didn't even think about that. I know we're like 1 hour apart, but it didn't dawn on me
bro.
that it airs at 7 o'clock in some
Seven,
areas.
7 to 10:15.
Oh geez, 10 o'clock. You still got a whole night left after Raw, man. I'm ready for bed by the time Raw ends.
That's pretty funny.
So yeah, it is. So
Uh,
so yeah, that's kind of what I might see being exciting about the Divas division if they ever kind of spiced it up a little bit with that. Who knows? I highly doubt that kind of thing would happen. But
yeah,
like I said, this is the part of the show where I fantasy book something, and
yeah.
the views and opinions expressed by LunaKage may not necessarily reflect those of a normal person.
Yeah, a thing I want to just kind of add to that too. Paige seems like the perfect diva to actually do that because she's like neutral between the two. She's not just a simple diva, and she actually is a wrestler, and she's almost like the attitude diva. Like if you want to do
Yeah,
like a Stone
see,
Cold type thing.
her thing in NXT, I guess, was being the anti diva.
Yeah,
Like when you look at her, you don't really see a diva. She kind of looks like the kind of girl that would have been into the goth shit.
she's
Like,
perfect.
she's got the dark.
She's actually perfect to be
Yeah,
a champion because she stands out from all like the blondes and cutesy
yeah,
divas. Yeah,
yeah. And she's got a submission hold, a legitimate submission hold as her finishing move.
she can probably make some
I mean,
dudes tap out to that.
who if she could lift them, yeah.
Right. Cruiserweight championship.
Oh jeez.
I want to fight Rey Mysterio. No.
Right. 175 pounds though. Who knows?
Right.
She does kind of look small. Like she doesn't really look too big. She's bigger than AJ at least, I think. But
Yeah.
see, we've talked more about the girls in like this past 30 minutes than the WWE has cared about the girls in the last year and a half. So
Right. Right. Our discussion made up like a couple months of diva matches.
yeah. Yeah.
It's,
So what else did we have this week? Oh! I'm kind of gonna get off. Well, I guess it's technically off topic. This isn't a Raw review show, people. It's
right.
it's a wrestling review show.
Right.
I am reminded. I haven't watched TNA in a while, and that has to do with a lot of things. But when I heard that Eric Young was the new TNA
He
champion,
is.
I was like, no fucking way, really? And I watched it. Like, I watched when he won it, and I was kind of half expecting it to be like a fluke win, like maybe a roll up off of an accidental distraction or, something silly happening. But it was an actual straight up victory that Eric Young got off of Magnus, and I was like, oh shit.
You know what's funny about it?
So they're
Well, I'll let you finish.
I just figured like they were actually pushing Eric Young now, and that's interesting as fuck to me.
Well, yeah, two things just want to kind of add. So, he's been with TNA since the beginning, even Team Canada gimmick, like before they were Spike.
Yep.
And also, the timing is funny because, with Daniel Bryan winning at WrestleMania, it came at a pretty convenient time, and then you had him had an injury in the same night too, because I guess he had to be in a battle royal or something to compete against Magnus later in the night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of like, okay, did they do this because of Daniel Bryan? Nah.
I think I think it's pretty safe to say that that's exactly what happened.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people in the past kind of gave TNA shit about copying storylines from WWE,
Mhm.
but this is just getting straight up ridiculous. I
They're
mean,
like,
not that I'm against Eric Young being champion, like totally. I think that that's a cool thing to do. Not necessarily that he's a new star or anything, but he is a first time world champion now, so that's kind of cool. But I mean, fucking with the whole authority thing kind of coinciding with heel Dixie,
yeah.
then you got
Well,
some
she's pretty much gone now. They have MVP kind of running the show now.
yeah. Then you had a corporate Kane come along, and then suddenly you had Abyss being on the side of Magnus. So you had like corporate Abyss for a little bit, and now you got the plucky underdog finally winning the big one, and in both fucking shows. So it's
With a
like
beard.
I don't know. It's yeah. So it's just kind of obvious. Like I used to be one of the guys in the past that would kind of scoff at people comparing the two because it was like like yeah, it's kind of similar, but it's not that bad, But then now it's just kind of blatant and it's just getting silly, to be honest.
Yeah, like I don't even know if there was any serious build up to Eric Young winning the belt because he was still just kind of feuding with Abyss at first.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Let me just win this match and then in one night I get it.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Eric Young, he's been around for a while, so if they were ever going to give him a title, it's about time that they did.
That was the perfect right place, right time.
Right.
Yeah,
So, I'm happy for him, definitely.
right. So and then they got Willow and still doing crazy sporadic stuff.
Well, I mean, that's Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
that's always kind of gonna be what he's about.
right. Let me see what else happened on Raw. Um, do we skip right to the thing that happened in the main event, or was there something else? Oh yeah, Alexander Rusev actually
Oh,
fought again.
jeez. I don't know, man. I'm not into Rusev at all.
Like,
Uh,
rise the Bulgarian brute.
I mean, it's just like we've seen the foreign heel, the foreign monster heel, so often that it's really just kind of getting on my nerves.
Yeah, why so serious, right? I just hope he doesn't turn
It's
into a
like,
comedy
shit.
character or something. Like
I mean, that's,
like it'd be funny. Like he ends up like how the one man gang became the African Dream or whatever.
I mean, I suppose it's a possibility, But
bro,
just Rusev in general, he doesn't really do it for me. I don't understand the appeal. He's another big monster who doesn't speak English, and
has a manager that talks him up to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
yeah, and she's not exactly, fucking $1,000,000 either. I mean, I guess she's kind of attractive if you're into that kind of thing, but there's really nothing about them
Ravishing
that
Russian.
makes me hype. Like
Ravishing Russian.
a ravishing Russian, yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh man. But yeah, he just it was kind of funny though. Like he went against Xavier Woods. Like Truth came in the ring and did something. I'm like, okay, that's silly. Why would you do that, Truth?
Well, because he wouldn't break the hold.
Uh,
Like I understood the finish, like Rusev was just locking it in, so Truth was like, man, fuck you, he tapped out already.
uh-huh.
So they're probably going to be some kind of. I mean, I imagine whether it be on SmackDown or maybe the next Raw, we're going to see Rusev versus Truth, and then Truth is going to get squashed.
Yeah, and like under a shorter time than Divas match.
Yeah, most likely. But I guess we'll see how Rusev holds up once he starts losing, because that's really what kind of gets to me. Like I understand the whole process of bringing a new guy in and building him up, but the build up process is always the process that I hate
Right.
because it's basically what I see it as. At least personally, like I understand everything about it, and, that's something you got to do. But whenever I see a guy getting built up, it's always this guy that no one cares about, who doesn't even have a personality yet, usually,
Uh-huh.
and he's beating these guys that are established in a short amount of time. So basically, what that's accomplishing is I know nothing about this character. I don't even know if he can put on a good match because all he did was just, beat up a guy for 2 minutes. And I know his finisher now. Like, that's pretty much all it is. And I understand that in order to build up a guy from the ground up, that's what you need to do. But I don't decide if I like somebody until I start seeing more and more of what they can actually do.
His build up is like an episode of Dragon Ball Z. You keep getting cliffhangers. The first punch has been delivered. you know.
Yeah.
Let me see. I guess with the one thing we forgot to mention too is the Warrior Week. It's pretty interesting how Warrior Week is almost like it was pre-recorded right before his death, because whenever they show like the segment on the network, they actually have footage of the Warrior talking, I guess from his DVD, but it's almost like, like if you're watching this now, then it's already happened kind of thing.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the WWE video guys are fucking extremely talented people.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you see a hype video for a match that's coming up, that's all them,
I know.
So you give these guys a week, and then you give them access to the entire library the entire library of footage that WWE has. They're going to come up with some good stuff. So
It is a good presentation, though.
Yeah.
I like though how it's showing all his classic matches. It makes you appreciate him a lot more too.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing too. It kind of shows how much of a softie I am. But like, I was never really a huge Warrior, kind of fan, because he was before my time. He never really, I understood that he was like a legend and stuff like that, but
Right.
he never really meant a whole lot to me personally. But after him dying, I was like, oh, that kind of sucks and everything. But the second I saw that video package with all the hand-picked quotes that kind of were designed to hit you in the heartstrings a little bit, I was starting to moisten up a little bit. I was like, oh man, these fucking dudes know how to do it.
Yeah,
Like,
he was inspiration back then.
yeah, definitely. So I mean, the only thing good that ever comes from wrestlers dying is getting an amazing video package.
And
Because I mean, it makes me think back to when Chris Benoit died, back before we knew what happened and shit.
right.
They created a video package for him in no time. Like, I think, yeah, they like had no idea that he was dead, I think, until they were just about to go on the air. So they came up with this video package to a song that was just perfectly sad enough to just, it was amazing, especially back then, considering he was my favorite wrestler back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, I was bawling like a baby, and at that time I think I was 17, 16,
17, 16.
a teenage boy, young man, fucking crying because his favorite wrestler died. That's the power of the WWE video guys. Like, I don't know
I don't.
who the one that
This is
do
like-
it is, but if
This is one of the few sports that can reach fans that way.
yeah, I mean, it's amazing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I agree though. Like, you may not have appreciated Warrior in the past because he wasn't from your era, but then you do even more now, especially with the network being able to go back and look at that past and say, man, he was awesome.
yeah, I swear to God, if we don't get sponsored by WWE for all this like network plugging, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, as much as we're kind of sucking the dick of the network, I feel like maybe we should be getting a WWE paycheck.
Boom, 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 boom. That network song.
Right. Hey, don't do that too good. We might end up getting a lawsuit.
Right. That's where like YouTube somehow matches the audio.
Right. Like, oh, hey, that sounds way too close to this.
Oh, and WWE is a huge corporation. What the hell?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, good stuff. I see Cena was actually being pretty funny with the Wyatts.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were upset about that.
Uh-huh.
I guess, you know, I can understand why, because I didn't really dig it too much either.
Mhm.
Because, you know, it's just Cena doing his Cena stuff. You know, getting himself over by making fun of his opponents, and you know, I guess it's whatever. He does it. He always does it. But the goal is to not let that define who you are. The thing about the Wyatt family is that the Wyatts, in general, completely no-sold it, and that would have been hard for me. Like I wasn't laughing when I was watching at home,
Right.
but if I knew Cena personally, and I was sitting in that ring watching him make fun of us like that,
Right.
you know, maybe I would have fucking corpsed a little bit. Maybe I would have cracked a smile, because you know it's a guy who's, you know, is probably a friend of mine, and he's picking on me, showing me photoshopped pictures of my face on fucking, you know, like it's not as funny if you're a guy who doesn't like it watching at home, but if you're a guy who's in on it, watching in the ring in front of thousands of people, maybe you might crack a little bit. But
Eric Rowan.
for whatever reason, all three of them, well, at least Harper and Bray,
I think Eric Rowan was
didn't even crack a
was
smile.
laughing his ass off behind that sheep mask.
He might have been. He would have been the only one to get away with it.
Like, especially that Luke Harper on a woman's body. That was funny.
Right. So basically, the moral of the story, you know, after John Cena goes through his comedy spiel, you get Bray Wyatt. You know, he's like, you know, John, you're joking. You always joke. That's all you do. Why can't you be serious for once?
Mm-hmm.
So John Cena's like, you want serious? All right, I'll be serious. And then he challenges Bray to a cage match. And Bray, despite being the heel, he's like, yeah, I want that cage match. This is exactly
Now we're
what I
having
want.
fun.
Right.
Yeah. But no.
So yeah, I don't think it was as bad as some people might have thought it was. Obviously, it was corny. It was Cena, so it wasn't exactly, you know, enjoyable on that aspect. But it kind of showed you how the Wyatts aren't exactly going to put up with Cena's bullcrap, and they, you know, or at least Bray, he called Cena out on it, and Cena changed his tone right away. So in a way, Bray is still kind of controlling the flow.
Yeah, it's not like,
you know what I
it's
mean?
not like Cena was talking to 3MB and then they start reacting incredibly, what, you know, and all that type of stuff.
Right.
But the Wyatts mean business, I agree. Yeah. So yeah, the main event with the Shield. Well, obviously we know earlier in the night when, you know, the Shield interrupted Batista and Orton's match against the Usos, and Triple H was like, "Told you so," and then they just had this ignorant 11-on-3 match in the main event.
Right. Yeah, and they completely, well, they were holding their own and everything,
Right.
but then eventually, you know, I didn't think it took too long either. Everything just goes to shit. Then you get the ref calling for a no contest, and the match ended without a clear winner.
Right.
So the 11 guys just kind of gang up on the Shield and are starting to beat the shit out of them. And then we hear one of the greatest entrance themes ever. It's funny too because when I first heard the ticking, my first thought was like, "What
Right? What the
MVP?"
hell? Cross promotion?
And then I realized, oh no, that's how Evolution's theme started. Used to start, and then the theme started up, and I
Me
always
too.
loved Evolution's theme. Like that was like my favorite part of the stable as a whole was just
Yeah.
the theme in
Goosebumps and
general.
nostalgia.
Yeah, so I'm sitting there marking the fuck out, bro.
Evolution is a
When
mystery.
yeah, yeah, and they walked down, and that was the point where my stream
Oh
decided to
hell no.
crash. I didn't know what happened afterwards. I just saw them all come up.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was kind of perfect though. Let's have all the other guys beat up on them, and then let's just dominate them and show our presence again.
Yes. So what happens? I assume that they just all came in and hit their finishing moves or something, or what?
Yeah, they basically beat the crap out of the Shield, did the finishing moves. Batista and Orton did the co-op tag move again.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so that's
that's
actually a
cool.
thing. And here's the cool thing. Triple H made it a thing to have him hold up Roman Reigns and pedigree Roman Reigns, which leads us,
Oh
which lead,
god, a triple
or no, no,
pedigree.
no, just he was they were just holding him up like, come on, tough guy, and then he just pedigree him.
Oh
So that's
okay.
probably going to lead to Roman versus Triple H, so Triple H can help, you know, make a
See,
star.
I think that would have been cool though. Now I'm kind of disappointed that there was no triple
A
pedigree
triple pedigree?
because I think yeah. Just like Triple H holding him between his legs with his arms hooked, and then you had both Randy and Batista each holding up a leg, and then on the count of three they all drop down to their knees
That'd
and
be
shit.
funny.
Like, yeah, that'd be a cool tag
It's
team
more
move, I think.
impact because they were holding his limbs.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Just like the triple power bomb because they hold his
Yeah,
arm, the wrestler's arm as he falls down.
yeah.
Oh man. But yeah,
But it's cool that Randy and Batista are using that as a tag team move now. I didn't really expect that to be a
yeah, they're
thing.
making good fun with it now. Oh, and two more things I wanted to mention. Like before Triple H pedigree Roman, he was like, "Believe in evolution." Yeah, and then they did the fist
Yeah,
thing that evolution that the Shield does when they put all their fists together. Yeah,
yeah. So we're gonna be getting a pretty nice Evolution versus Shield feud then. It's
yeah.
pretty cool.
I like seeing them work together. To be honest.
I mean, it's just another way to I'm sure a lot of people might not like Triple H being involved still, but I mean, fuck that. I mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
I would you rather see the return of Evolution versus the Shield, or would you rather see fucking Randy Orton versus fucking Daniel Bryan at Extreme Rules for the 37th time?
I would rather get the former.
Right,
Right.
exactly. That's my point. So yeah, it's looking to be a pretty decent pay-per-view so far. I mean, what do we have? Evolution versus the Shield. It's most likely going to be in the main event. I don't know what Daniel Bryan's going to do because like he's going to be back next week, so I assume he's going to at least be defending his title against
That
somebody.
that is kind of weird because if it's gonna be a tag team feud with the two guys who were competing for the world title, it's not like they're just gonna do a random WWE World Championship tournament next week.
Yeah, I mean, unless this is how CM Punk comes back. I mean, I know that's kind of a dead horse that people keep beating,
Yeah.
but like what else is it going to be? Is it going to be like another one of the Big Show's random fucking world title matches that he gets just to lose, or what's it going to be? I can only assume because we've only got we got two more Raws left, I think, before Extreme
I believe
Rules.
so.
So if it's gonna happen, it's got to be quick, So I assume Daniel Bryan comes back and then he gets attacked by somebody. That's how you start up a
For
feud
two
really quick.
weeks, right? Because all the big players are busy with respective storylines. So,
Yeah, you got Bray versus John
right.
Cena 2 in the cage match. You got Shield versus Evolution. You got you got Big E taking on most likely Cesaro. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Cesaro for the Intercontinental title.
I mean,
So
unless they just brought, I don't. This is kind of a random thought, but unless they brought Lesnar back for some random reason, like I don't know how many matches he gets in his contract, but
well, if they brought Lesnar back to have him challenge for the title, then there's no way that they can have him lose. You know, like not this soon after beating the streak. So
oh
if
yeah,
he,
that would be terrible, man.
yeah, if he goes against Bryan at Extreme Rules, then it's going to be another match that he's just kind of going to win with almost no build-up. And, you know, I don't think he's going to come back for a little bit. Like, if he's at Extreme Rules, he's probably going to be crushing another giant. But it would kind of suck to have Daniel Bryan's reign in at Extreme Rules, the pay-per-view after he won it, you know?
Yeah, like people be really pissed and like they already hate the guy for ending the streak. Well, I guess it's some people came to accept it, but still, you know, last thing they want to see is him crush Daniel Bryan's dreams like that.
Right, just immediately.
Like, what the hell? Yeah, everyone's busy, or they're in a Intercontinental title situation right now.
I mean, I don't know. A lot can happen in 2 weeks. So I guess we'll see the state of the world title next week. If they even decide to put it up, we might just have, you know, no world title match, and you know that's happened before. So it would at least have to have Bryan be doing something, though. He can't just, you know, maybe he'll be the fucking special guest referee
Unless
or something.
they make this like, I read some random rumors, like unless they think about doing something like a War Games style match, which might not happen because they'd have to get 2 rings and stuff. But
Yeah.
unless Bryan was involved in that tag match with Kane being on Evolution's side.
I mean, I suppose it's always a possibility, but I think the better match would just be the 3 members of Evolution versus the 3
Yeah,
members
because it
of the
looks
Shield.
like kind of all over the place then.
It would be a lot more authentic.
Oh,
that
I just
way.
thought about something. You see how Stephanie was saying she want Kane to go back to the Munster? What if, I don't know, Kane fights Daniel Bryan at Extreme Rules, whether the title was on the line or not?
Aren't they advertising that for next Raw though?
Well, I mean, I guess that's also enough time to build up something. But yeah, Kane is supposed to come back on Raw.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see. You know, all we can do is speculate. But you know, like I said, I mean, I highly doubt CM Punk's coming back. You know, in a while. But you know, as my current favorite wrestler, I'm always gonna be thinking of ways of, ooh, what if he were to come back this way?
Yeah. Have you ever thought about moving to Chicago because CM Punk is from Chicago? Just
No, but I do consider Chicago my second home,
Yeah.
and that's for more reasons than just CM Punk
right.
too. So,
I agree.
well, you can't agree. You're from Chicago.
Well,
That's your
maybe
first
I was agreeing on your behalf, you know.
home. Right.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
yep,
funny.
Yep. Well, I mean, is there what else is there to talk about? What happened? Anything?
What else in WWE can we talk about? Well, we already talked about the network being awesome still.
Yeah. I mean, I guess all we really got left is our Devo of the week.
This becomes more challenging every time.
Yeah, because I mean, divas are really hard to come by.
Yeah.
So who do we got?
Yeah. And they have to be we had Lady Luck last week.
We did. It was my most non-diva diva.
Diva.
The most diva-est of every diva. The one who's not technically real.
Let me see. What do you think about some of the NXT girls? What do you think about Ric Flair's daughter Charlotte?
Charlotte's cool. Yeah. I mean, she looks old as fuck, but she's not.
It's funny how they coined her the dirtiest diva in the game. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's cool. That was a cool little homage.
Yeah.
So I guess we can give it to her this week. I don't really have a lot to say about her, but apparently she does a blockbuster as a finishing move. as far as I know of, except for she probably does the figure four as
Uh,
well. But I'm pretty sure I've seen her hit a blockbuster once to get a pin
yeah,
on
I
somebody.
know she's gonna definitely be a factor just because for more reasons than one. She looks like she can be a player in the Divas division or women's division, I should say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we can give it to her this week, even though I just thought of somebody. But I think I'm gonna give it to her next week because I just remembered, and this diva is gonna be important to me, and she's starting to get important to me
Oh
already. But
man.
for this week, we're gonna go with Charlotte because I mean she's the dirtiest
That's
diva in the
true.
game.
Now we got suspense building up to
So
next week.
right, we actually have a diva for next week already. Holy
Like the
shit!
return of somebody or something.
All right, I guess that's a good time to end this one here. We reached the hour
See,
mark. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so thank you guys for watching. You have been watching MAWS Talks Wrestling. We are your hosts. I am
Nam
LunaKage,
Glenburg.
and thank you guys for watching. See you next
Peace.
week.